I'm so glad you guys are with me today. I am making a soap. I've had this fragrance oil on my shelf for a little while now, and it's finally time to get it out and make the soap. What fragrance? It is tobacco flower from Micah's and More. I think other places have this fragrance. Never used it. It's a kind of a weird combination of masculine and feminine. I can never say that word, so I usually say girly. Feminine. It's kind of spicy. It's got a little bit of a bite to it. It's interesting. I don't have any clue what kind of design to do. So I'm going to keep it somewhat simple and just doing some swirls and a basic skewer on top like I've done 1,000 times before. But when I looked at tobacco flowers, they are on a green plant and they're white flowers. So I'm going to do a white base, and I have 3 different greens. Hopefully my greens will all look different enough and it'll just be some pretty green swirls in a white soap. All right, enough chatter. I'm going to bring the camera down and show you what I'm doing. First things first is I need to get my hot plate out of my way. In here, I just have my beef tallow, my lard, and my coconut oil. So this is a Farm Fresh soap. So my Farm Fresh line has beef, lard, and goat milk. I melted these down earlier, and now I just need to get my liquid oils in here real quick. And that is olive, safflower. Oh shoot, I forgot my shea butter, guys. I think I hit the wrong recipe because I think I was dropping my shea butter, actually, from this recipe, and it's still in this one. So this must be one of my older versions. I'm just gonna go with it. It's all good. And hopefully this will just melt nicely without me having to get it back on the heat. Yeah, a little more than I meant to, but that's okay. Let's see where we're at with getting this melted. It's still a little warm. I am going to try to take some of that shea out because I have olive oil in my pitchers here. I don't want to go too far into the super fat rum. So I think that is perfectly fine. This should be warm enough to melt my shea, so I'm just going to give it a second and see if I can do that. That's still warm. Oh gosh, I guess maybe I'm not as ready as I thought I was. Alright guys, well, I'm going to shut you off and let all of this cool down just a little bit more. This is still 120, so it's still a little too hot. This is my lye water. I'll be back. I had to wait a little bit to let things cool down because I jumped the gun a little. So now everything is pretty well cool and ready to go. I have all of my oils, butters, goat milk is in here, my kaolin clay is in here, everything's in here. So what do I have? Beef tallow, lard, coconut, olive oil, safflower, shea butter, castor oil, and citric acid is in my lye water. I put citric acid in my kaolin clay, I don't know if I said that. I put citric acid in my soap to help with our hard water that we have here. It just helps with bubbles. It creates, I don't know that it doesn't create bubbles, but it supports your lather, and it keeps soap scum from developing so badly. You're still going to have soap scum with hard bars of soap. It's just part of using bar soap, but it does diminish that, and it's a chelator, so it helps bind the hard minerals in your water, creating that scum. So here's my lye water. It's got a little lint on it. In here I have, what do I have? What do I have? Oh, it's sea glass. It looks much darker in the jug than it does in here. This is chromium green oxide, a nice dark green. And this one is jungle green, and I just wanted to use this, but it has a bit of an olive tint to it. So I'm hoping there'll be enough difference between those two that it won't be too similar. And then This is going to get some TD to make it white. I'm sorry, you seem to be a little low. My tripod, as usual, I'm having issues with my stuff. And my tripod, I spend so much money on them. I buy very quality, you know, $80 tripods, and they're always breaking on me. Now, it could be the user. I'm sure it's the user, but dang. So I'm struggling with that one. My ones upstairs, I'm struggling with those as well. I did not warm up my 50/50 lye solution with my extra water. So for my extra water, I needed 5 ounces or so of water to meet my water requirements. All of last year, I was heating up my water with that little 5 ounces extra water. Well, Lisa lovingly at I Dream Soap posted a video on why I shouldn't do that. I told her I took full credit for that idea of that video. And you know, honestly, because I had so much trouble with my batter tracing so quickly last year when I changed my recipe, and I honestly had considered whether that was causing it, but I couldn't get there. I could not, my brain could not figure out why in the world that would make a difference. And she explained it very well. And if I remember, I will post that video and link it for you guys in case you're wondering why I no longer heat my lye water up the way I was doing. Uh-oh, did I pour some of my, I did just a little bit. Oh, I made a mess. You know, it's really not that deep. I should just leave it, but I want every little bit of this soap. Oh, I made a mess over here too. Good night. Okay. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. I thought I had a towel. Where's my towel? I'm trying to use fewer paper towels down here. I still use paper towels to clean all of my jugs and spatulas for the most part, but my tabletop, I'm trying to use towels. There is a very particular reason why I use paper towels. I did have a video on all of that. It's been over a year ago. I doubt many people have seen it. But it's because our septic went out. And we literally almost lost this house when our septic went out. Because I did not think the county was going to allow us to put a new septic in. If they had not allowed us to put a new septic in, what would we have done? And it wasn't because I was throwing oily rags down in the washing machine or anything like that. It was tree roots. But guys, when your septic goes out, oh boy, you do have a all new appreciation for that thing, and you try to protect it. Because we lived in this house for 6 months with putting minimal water down our drains. So we couldn't shower here. We couldn't do laundry here. I was doing dishes in buckets and chucking the water off the back porch. The only thing we used was toilet. If that's TMI, I'm sorry, but it was horrible. 6 months. 6 months of that. It was not a good time. It was so stressful. So stressful trying to figure out what we were going to do, how we were going to put a septic in, fighting the county, trying to allow us to put a septic in. It was not good. So, all that being said, is that's why I'm pretty protective of it. And I know a lot of people say, well, it turns to soap on the rag, you know, it's soap. But we do have super fat. So there is free oils running around on those rags. And I just won't take the chance. Not with this much. Not with this much. I don't use chromium green very often. It's just kind of a pain to process. It's kind of like neons and those types of colorants. It's just a pain, but it is a very pretty green. Oh, there I'm using my paper towel, and I said I wasn't going to do that. Habits are hard to break. I'm having plenty of time. Obviously, I don't have the fragrance oil in here. I'm just waiting for it to kind of come to a good emulsion. So I'm taking my time. So my bars are going to be a little bit smaller in this batch. So I'm trying something. I want to make my bars a little bit smaller. My bars are 2.5 inch wide by 1 inch deep and 3.5 inches tall. So I adjusted my mold size to be 3.25 inches tall. So I want to see how that looks. I've been getting people tell me that my bars are just lasting too long. I know. This smells so good. I can't get over how spicy it is. I think I'm going to add a little bit of soap to this. It's not as full as the others, and it's a little saturated. So let's just do that. I don't know that that did a whole lot, but it'll work. It's gonna work. I think they're kind of different. We've got like an army green almost, the like green, and then the seafoamy green. I like it. This is not super white, but the last time I did this, I put too much TDE because I've been using water lately, and I had glycerin rivers in my white part, which I liked, but not necessarily wanting this time. Ooh, it's kind of strong actually. We'll see. Maybe could have, gosh, went down in my load a little bit. I did 6%. My hanger tool. It is my favorite piece of equipment, I think. All right, I want to go ahead and get some of this in here. Most of it, but maybe a little over half. I'm going to pour most of this in here now. I'm going to leave a little bit for the top. Side to side. I'm afraid I'm muddying it up a little bit. I'm only going to do this very lightly because it is fairly thin still. So I think I'm just going to go like an 8. Just one time. Figure 8. Let's see what happens. I reuse my skewers. Just keep them in the drawer there until next time. And the reason I'm doing it this way is I just want my 3 greens to be really prominent on top when I do my skewer. So I'm just trying to lightly put this white on the top and not let it sink in, like I just did. Alrighty. I spent a good amount of time scraping that out. That is something I also do to help with my paper towel usage, because I will wipe that out with my paper towel. But scraping it definitely helps that situation. And I'm just going to lightly sprinkle this on here. I'm okay if this kind of falls in because that white layer is a little deeper than I expected it to be. And I do tend to leave too much in my jugs every single time. It's like the lesson I cannot seem to learn. That and piping. Leaving too much for piping and too much in my jugs. I have no concept of volume apparently. I actually should have left the light green for the top just to not be buried between the two darker greens. So hopefully we'll be able to see the light green a little bit when I go to swirl it. And you know, we spend so much time on the tops of the soaps usually, or at least I do. And I don't think anybody hardly ever notices the tops. Swirl time. Oh, let me clean up a little bit. All right, let's see. I don't usually do this really deliberately because I don't know where my bars are. That's pretty. I'll take it. And you can see a lot of the lighter green, so I'm happy with that. All right, lid. I do think that I am going to put this on the, you know, I'm not going to put this on the heat pad. I think I'm just going to set it on my back counter very carefully to try to not jiggle it too much. Because of the white, I want the white to be really bright, as bright as I can get it with the little bit of TD I put in there. Popping your soap with TD, I do believe will kind of not let the white be super bright. So yellows and whites aren't helped by popping. All your other colors I think are. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think that's the way it is. On the back counter, they go. All right, let's get her cut. It's been in the mold for probably 5 days, maybe longer. I just haven't been able to get down here and cut it. So I just got it into logs. Okay, I like the I had 3 different grains, didn't I? I'm not seeing the 3 difference. Well, I guess I am. So we have the darker green, that's going to be the chromium, what is it called? Hydrated chrome? I don't know what it is. And then that's the sea glass, I believe. So yes, I am seeing all 3 greens. See if I can put these. Nope. I kind of want them in order because when I do pictures, sometimes I like to see like the design on the 3 stacks that I do. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's kind of nice. Just a simpler, more simple bar with simple design. I like the top. I think it ended up being really pretty. I like green. I think that green may be my favorite color, guys. I think it might be. I've never had a favorite color. And my husband and I were talking, and it's like, I don't remember what we were talking about. And I was like, is green my favorite color? He goes, well, it sounds like it. I think green might be my favorite color. I've never ever felt like I had one. And I always felt like I was missing out on having a favorite color. But something about a green soap really makes me smile. This is a pretty strong scent. Even in the mold, I would come down here and I would smell the soap while in the mold. I do like a mold that gives me a little bit of a sample without taking away from bars. I appreciate that. All right, let's take a closer look at tobacco flower. There is a closer look. I think the green swirls turned out really pretty. I do tend, guys, don't get mad at me for critiquing myself. I do tend to pull off too much for colors, for the swirls. I have done that for years, and it's just one of those lessons that I don't think at this point am I ever going to learn. I mean, it should be a lesson I can learn pretty easily. Don't pull off so much for color swirls, but I continually do it. I like this soap an awful lot. I like the swirls. That's all good, but I wish there were fewer of them so that the 3 different greens would be more distinct if there was fewer of them, and more white to be more of a contrast. So that is my one critique on this design, is just I pulled off too much. Every time it's infuriating. I did make my bars a little bit shorter. I cut out all of that gabbing that I did regarding the different size of my soaps. I think I'm going to have a different video for just the whole process of coming up with maybe a different size, which I still haven't landed on 100% yet. I may even just go back to my old size. I really haven't decided anything about that definitely, but I do know definitely that this is not the size. I don't care for the size. It's like short and fat, and it's kind of lost the tall and skinny vibe. It's just not, I don't care for this. So I have a video coming up in the near future about the next test soap that I've done and the different sizes that I'm trying. I'm much more happy with that soap than I am this soap as far as the size goes. So stay tuned for that, but I do think I may have just a whole video of all of these different tests and put them all in one so it's more cohesive. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, thank you for being here. This is a long one. I'm getting long again, so I'm going to try to cut some of these down. But I do appreciate you. Each and every one of you are awesome to me, and I just thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. It is sometimes overwhelming that you guys spend your time with me, and I don't know how to convey my appreciation for that. So thank you for that. Guys, if you did spend some time with me today, why don't you give me a thumbs up? And subscribe if you haven't. Come on, subscribe if you haven't. I need to hit 25,000. Gosh, geez Louise, help a girl out and give me a subscribe. Sometimes my outros are so stupid, guys. I'll see you next week.